Hello, everybody. Andy Jacob here with the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show. And we have a very special guest as part of our very special Author Spotlight program today. We have Miss Dorothy Buchwalter on the show. She wrote a really interesting book. It's a children's book. I think, if you have a child, they're going to love this because it's all about fairy life. The name of the book, of course, is A Glimpse of Fairy Life. And it's really a bedtime story that's really going to mesmerize your children. And of course, when I was a young lad many, many years ago, my mother always used to read a bedtime story to me, and it always helped me go to sleep very well. And I'm sure that this book will do the same for your little ones as well. So, Dorothy, welcome to the Entrepreneur Spotlight Show.
Why, thank you for having me, Andy.
So you wrote a book about fairies, and that's pretty interesting. But before we get started, I'm going to give you a chance to introduce yourself a little bit and tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay. I grew up in Dallas, Texas, Laredo, Texas, and Buenos Aires, Argentina. And I went to school at University of Texas and became a medical technologist. I originally went to school as an artist, and also I went to secretarial school. That's all my daddy could afford was after we graduate from high school. That's what I can do for you. So I put myself through UT, being a secretary, and I'd walk from campus downtown Austin, work for State Farm Insurance, not State Farm Insurance, the State Insurance Agency, whatever it is.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago, but you really have a keen mind to be able to write a book like this. You talk about an enchanted forest, and of course, you're helping your readers step into this world that's a fantasy world. So, is this something that always interested you, or is this something that came on later in life?
Well, I think it is something that I've always interested me. I've always loved storytelling. I've always loved fairy tales. I thoroughly enjoy any Disney movie. I'm a real fan. Uh, I don't see why there aren't fairies in the woods. If there's an enchanted wood, this is what it would be like. It would be wonderful. These are kind creatures, and they project love and they project caring. And I think that is something that this book sets a great example to the kids. This is how you can be. And fairies are like that. Fairies have chores. And you have chores, it's just a natural way of things. We're all expected to put in our work and work hard. And I just think this is an interesting concept to put in those kids' minds.
Yeah, I love it, Dorothy. It sounds like what you've done is
Yeah,
taken some of the things from your childhood that were very important, discipline and being kind to people and sharing, and
right.
putting them in this book so you can inspire the next generation of children to live beautifully and learn from the fairies and from the book. Is that the idea?
That's the idea. It's a beautiful idea, and if everybody grew up with those concepts, I think this would be a much better world.
Yeah, I love it. Now, obviously, you're hoping that this is an enchanting bedtime story where the parents read it to the children and they go to sleep and they think about good thoughts and good things, and that must feel great for you when somebody buys your book knowing that their children are going to get such a great experience. What does that feel like when someone actually buys your book from Amazon or one of the other locations?
Well, I think it would be great. So far, I don't have very many sales and very few reviews on Amazon. I guess it will happen. Uh, I fell in love with the pictures. The illustrations were done by AI, and I was playing around with AI and exploring it. And that's how the book came to be, because I just fell in love with the illustrations. And I thought, well, everybody will like to see these. And how could you not? They're just gorgeous. Um, so,
Wow. Look
so
at you on AI, putting pictures together. I mean, you're really a Renaissance woman. I love that so much. Now, let's talk about it because you have some beautiful and delightful pictures in the book. You've written the book. When the adult is walking or telling the bedtime story to the child, are they opening up the book and showing the illustrations as they go through the book?
absolutely, absolutely. The pictures are, I would say, the biggest wonderful part of the book.
Wow. So it's a storytelling not only through your words, but also through illustrations. And
Right. It's
when I
a
was a young child,
picture book.
yeah, I love that, but that's the way to do it. And of course, it takes time. Sometimes, you mentioned for the younger authors watching the show, and here of course, we're talking to Dorothy about this new book, A Glimpse of Fairy Life. Sometimes the book process takes some time. It doesn't always happen instantly and immediately. You have to stay with it. And, some of the greatest bestsellers started off real slow, but ultimately they gain some traction and they move in the right direction, which is what we hope happens to this bedtime story. Now, let's think about it because I know something about you that outside of writing, you also love playing bridge. And
Oh, absolutely. Bridge is my number one fun thing.
yeah, now does that keep your mind going and keeps you, moving in the right direction mentally so that, you
Right,
keep the
right.
brain lubricated? Is that
Keep
part of
the
the
brain
idea?
lubricated. I love puzzles. I love playing any kind of games. I love all games. It seems like all, and I've been very, very. What's the word? There's the old brain going. Uh,
Well, you've probably been inspired and by playing games, and it also keeps your brain moving in the right direction.
right.
Yesterday, Dorothy, someone told me about a fun game. It's called Two Truths and a Lie. And you tell someone two true stories about your life and one story that's not true, and you try and fool them. And then they have to pick which one of the three stories you told them is the fake story. So I played that with my wife yesterday, and that was a lot of fun. Let's go back to the book. Were there challenges that you had in trying to bring the book to life? In other words, what were the biggest challenges in making and producing and writing this book?
It was difficult. I had my secretarial skills and using Word. I've been using Word for maybe 30 years. So, hey, nothing new there. I but trying to get it into formatted into a book. Well, it's probably not formatted like a professional like Richard Brown's secretary or whatever would format it, but I think they'll do it right.
Yeah, well, listen, you also worked with a team and they made sure that the book is beautifully produced and that the people that buy it are really going to enjoy it. But all authors have this type of a situation that we have to deal with. I just wrote a book and I had to deal with exactly the same frustrations that you did. But at the end of the day, it's getting this beautiful work out into the world. And again, uh, this has got to be something very inspiring for you. Do you have more books up in that brain of yours that you want to produce in the future?
Well, actually, I've written a second book. It's called Tootsie's Adventure.
Tootsie's Adventure. Okay, tell us about Tootsie.
Well, she's a 5 inch fairy, and she's out collecting seeds in the enchanted forest, of course.
Yes, of course. You got to have the Enchanted Forest.
And she's a storm comes up real suddenly, and she's picked up by a tornado and sucked up and away, and she slammed into a tree. One of her wings is broken, and she lands in a town, who knows where. She doesn't know. She's unconscious for some time. When she comes to, she recognizes nothing. So the whole story is about getting back to the enchanted forest, of course.
Yes. So
She,
this
she's
seems,
going to solve a number of challenges.
well, for sure. And this seems to be a theme now. So maybe this is going to be a trilogy, or maybe even write more books than this. And of course,
Well, it's possible. That's
oh,
possible.
wonderful, wonderful. And of course, in this book, the book we're talking about here, which
Yeah.
again,
The
this
Tootsie's.
children,
Now, these illustrations were by me, the artist. I am an artist. I started out life as an artist, and I went to college for 2 years as an artist, majoring in art. But then that wasn't going to pay anything. I tried to get a summer job with my art, and the the owner of the shop said, to be quite honest, I can only pay you $35 a month. And after you graduate, I'll pay you $35 a month. And I thought to myself, I don't think I can do this.
right. Well, listen, you started in a beautiful way. And of course, you dedicated this book to Kendall and Everett. We noticed that. Who are Kendall and Everett? Could you share who they are and what role they played in inspiring your project?
Okay, these are my long awaited grandbabies. Kendall and Everett are precious. They are just the delight of my life. I had been telling my two boys, David and Alex, that I wanted grandchildren. And by golly, I want them before I'm too old. And pretty soon, I keep reminding them year after year, and now I'm getting really old.
Well, you're young at heart, you look great. And when I think about the book, and I think about children's books in particular, of course, you have a target demographic that you're writing for, but oftentimes these children books, the adults like them as well. So, what was your idea about that? Do you think the adults will also find themselves enchanted in your forest?
I do. I find my friends think these books are just absolutely wonderful and remarkable and just cute as can be. Uh, I hope they are spreading the word as best they can, but they really do. They really enjoy them, and this Tootsie's Adventure is more of uh, an action. It has more of a storyline than just here's the picture and this is what's happening in the picture. My my illustrations are more uh, sketches. They're not true. They're not nothing compared to the AI, but they work. I think they're more like some of the old fashioned storybooks, and a unicorn. My granddaughter is wild about unicorns, so I had to include a unicorn in the story.
Of course you did. Yes. And of course,
Had it right on the front page or
very
the
nice.
cover.
Well, she's going to love that, of course. And AI has its place with its illustrations, but your personal touch in the second book also has a very meaningful thing that has to do with your personal touch, which I love so much. Now, before I let you go, I know we have only cut out a certain amount of time today, Dorothy, but you have a number of different fairies in the book. Do you have one fairy that's one of your favorite fairies, and tell us why?
Well, I guess Luna, the teacher. Luna was the older fairy that was helping organize the young fairies to go do their different chores. But this Tootsie's Adventure, my mother was nicknamed Tootsie by my dad, and we all wound up calling her Tootsie instead of Mother or whatever. But so that Tootsie is probably something that's just closer to my heart.
I love it. Tootsie, your favorite fairy. Say that 3 times real fast. Well, listen, Dorothy, this is exciting. A glimpse of fairy life is out. You've got the new book that's coming out as well with your own illustration, so that's going to be fantastic. Of course, writing a book is a big feat, so congratulations on that. You've got your grandbabies here now. I mean, you told someone that you wanted some grandbabies, and there you go. So you have a little magic fairy dust happening in your own life, which I want to
I
congratulate you for.
thank you. Thank you.
And of course, the both books are beautifully illustrated, and these books will captivate the imagination of the reader. So we're going to put the links below your interview so people can click on them. And of course, if you have children, think about Dorothy's book. You're going to be inspired, but also it's a great bedtime story book for your children. It teaches them the right things, how to be good, how to share, how to bring light into the world. There's so much dark going on in the world right now. People are doom scrolling all the time. All they're seeing are the bad things on social. And what
That's true.
that's right. And what Dorothy's tried to do is bring some of that light, some of that good old-fashioned positivity to her book so that it'll motivate and capture the imagination of the reader. So, Dorothy, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's been great to have you.
Oh, so thank you. Enjoyed it very much, Andy. Thank you.